everyone! The one thing I've gotten with Transformers is that their gimmicks are usually add another toy onto the thing that plugs in and gives it an ability. That's the usual gimmick.
More plugs in for basic functionality. So, POWERMASTERS, they're the engines. You need a to install the PowerMaster partner, or push the button down yourself, which can be really tricky. And surprisingly, they were not actually something you could swap around between figures.
Huh.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they form engine blocks with the intent of initially the excuse they gave any excuse they gave was after the fact.
Oh yeah, first the toys were made and then they had to come up with ideas on how are we going to sell this?
Yeah, no. Cartoon was already over by that point, so they didn't have to explain it. Marvel did as Marvel does and came up with something stupid. The Nebulons, after the shit show with the Headmasters, poisoned every fuel source on their planet.
That sounds like a stupid idea that'll just screw them over in the long run.
Probably. Anyway, two Decepticons showed up, started wrecking shit, tried to refuel, immediately fell over dead, and the scientist who did it was what was hailed as a visionary hero, who saved their world.
Okay.
His assistant or rival scientist, or the wily to his light, more or less, created the power. Well, used the Power Master process to bond to one of them, brought a random thug to bond to the other one, just to spite this guy.
That sounds like a very bad plan.
Yes, but as far as partners go, yeah, Dreadwing and Darkwing. Well, Dreadwind and Darkwing can't really do anything to him because they will just die, and a good chunk of their raids are just to make sure these people are fed because of the obscene calorie count they now need.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. Some Autobots showed up to revive Optimus Prime, and the scientist who initially did this and his lab partners wound up bonding as engines to them. And when they realized, oh, fuck, these are actual living beings and not just machines following an objective. Oh, shit. They're literally killing themselves just to bring their leader back. The Power Masters went on to do pretty much nothing unless their name was Getaway.
Alright, let's go right through this.
And in Japan, they were the Godmasters.
The original Transformers toy line was always
it.
experimenting with new gimmicks and play
True.
features to stay fresh. 1987 saw the introduction
like
of two of the
Godmasters.
most
One
significant,
of my favorite
the
toys.
Headmasters,
Because they're quite
Transformers
literally
whose heads
Transformers that ride.
disconnected
They
and
ride in the cars, and then transform into the robots and become the head.
transformed into partner
I mean,
minifigures.
sometimes they ride in the
and
alligator.
The Target Masters,
What?
who came with partners that turned into
Yeah.
guns for them to
Oh yeah,
wield.
the
These are the
Target
basics
Masters.
on the third version of the Master Play pattern.
Yeah, it seems to me that
PowerMasters.
all of these patterns are basically just add a
The
smaller
PowerMasters
robot to
were
them.
released in 1988 and consisted of Autobot cars, Getaway, Joyride.
Technically, this
and
could also be added to the Minicons, considering what they can do when added with the other robots.
Yeah. But the Minicons unlocked new features. You needed to put the Power Master in to actually transform the toy.
Ah,
Slapdash,
okay.
Decepticon Jets, Dreadwind, and Darkwing,
Mind
unaffiliated
you,
mercenary,
kinda
double
need this
dealer,
hotshot.
and the line's centerpiece,
I have a double dealer, he's
Autobot
awesome.
leader Optimus Prime, returning to the toy line for the first time since the
I have the
discontinuation of
Optimus
his
issue
original
that's
toy
actually
in
just Bean Eye.
1986. Each toy came with a partner minifigure that turned into an engine for their vehicle mode. Plugging in the engine pressed a hidden button on the toy. Its
Yeah, for
ability
some
to
reason,
transform to
Slapdash.
robot
You
mode.
are coughing up a storm. Are you alright?
Yeah, just some stuff went down the wrong pipe. I'll be fine. Air's still flowing.
Okay.
I had a
As the
Dreadwind for a while. I don't still have it. I just sold it.
She'll put it.
I just wish the newer toys were better.
Of course, if you lost the engine, you could still reach in and push the button by hand.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Transformers
double dealers
partners
fucking
were
hurt me trying to
aliens
do
from
that.
the planet Nebulos, And the idea behind the gimmick
Nebulous.
was that they served as the robot's power sources, fueling their partners' bodies with their own bioenergy.
Yeah, no, Slapdash was the
The
interesting one.
story of this partnership
Bioenergy.
was told in Marvel's.
Damn.
He's the only one that's toy didn't store the engine socket out of. Well, okay, actually neither did Double Dealers, but his robot mode partner was color spec so that you wouldn't even notice. But yeah, no, rather his chest, which resulted in they included an extra engine block piece that could fit into the socket when it was unfilled, or just carry his partner.
Huh.
And he's the only one that could do that.
Interesting.
Transformers comic book. Following the Transformers'
Yes,
visit to
this
Nebula,
thing.
during which Nebulans became
Yeah.
bonded to Autobots and Decepticons as Headmasters
I'm not going to
and
say this arc made any
Target
sense.
The planet's
Oh yeah, there's Scorponok.
ruling council asked top scientists High Q and High Test
High
to find a way
Q.
to stop the destructive
High Q.
alien robots from endangering the planet again. High Q's solution was to saturate Nebulos's atmosphere with radiation.
I feel like that
harmless
wouldn't
to
have
Nebulans, but which
robots.
rendered all the planet's energy sources poisonous to Transformers. When Dreadwind
It
and
was the
Darkwing
80s
arrived
movie.
on Nebulos searching for other Decepticons, they ingested the poison fuel and were left dying. Jealous of
Okay.
High Q's accomplishments, High Test hired the thief Throttle to steal data on the POWERMASTER process, a new method
what?
of energy conversion High Q was working on.
Nebulons
Using
universally
it,
have
High-Test
stupid names.
I can tell.
biomechanically modified
Because,
based on
like-
Throttle's
So they explained the Target Masters having very gun-oriented names like Spoil Sport or Peacemaker or
Yeah.
fucking, I don't know, Flare Up, whatever the fuck Rodimus's was. They've changed his name so many times.
Okay.
By virtue of saying, oh no, those are code names, because technically they could go under fire for helping to breach the Nebulos Treaty by fucking finding the loophole of we can't give them their guns back, but we can certainly turn into guns for them. Why you can't just build new guns, I don't know.
Yeah, that's strange.
But yeah, no, the comic explained those names in compared to the other ones like Gallon, Arcana, Stylor, actual fucking alien names.
Stylor.
Don't be knocking Stylor. He's a fashionista. He will call your bell-bottom jeans.
I don't care. The name Stylor should be laughed at by all kinds.
I laugh at you.
I have come to
Anyway.
laugh at you anyway.
bodies,
Anyway,
turning
they,
them into living
They
batteries.
explain the Target Masters as code names. Doesn't explain the Decepticon Target Master names, but whatever.
Alright.
Then struck a deal with the
As far as I'm
Decepticons,
aware,
agreeing to bond with
these
them
are just the
and
Power
power
Masters'
their
names.
bodies in return
Right.
for their help discrediting High Q.
So some poor
Soon after,
bastard's
an
been named
Autobot-
Lube.
The Autobots Getaway, Joyride, Slapdash, Goldbug, and yeah.
Who gets a bullshit explanation for why he doesn't need to be a Power Master.
Team came to Nebulos to request High Q's help building a new body for Optimus Prime. Though dangerously low on power since they couldn't refuel without
Oh yeah, they
poisoning
did this to
themselves,
discredit the other
Autobots
guy.
still attempted to defend the Nebulans against Dreadwind and Darkwing, and, moved by their efforts, High Q and his lab assistants decided to bond with them and the restored Optimus Prime as Power Masters
Oh,
as
this is
well,
how we got
saving
the
their
Power
lives
Master
and giving them
Optimus.
the power to defeat
Yeah,
the
the only one
Decepticons.
people remembered until
The Power
Getaway
Master
showed up in
process
Lord
had
meets the
several
Eye.
consequences. To meet the Transformers'
Proved
energy
himself to be an
needs,
utter
the Nebulans
bastard.
now needed to consume massive quantities of food, though later stories would offset this by showing how their new physiology allowed them to absorb energy from many different sources.
Okay.
Per the toy's mechanics, some sources depicted the Transformers as unable to transform if their partners weren't present. But by far the most unexpected consequence of the process came to light late in
Yep.
the comics run,
This.
when Optimus Prime and High Q discovered it was slowly merging them, mentally and physically, into a single being.
The implication was that this also happened with Headmasters?
That's
Because
horrifying.
by the end, Scorponok wasn't Scorponok anymore. He was Zarek pretending to be Scorponok.
Huh. Horrifying.
Regeneration
Like the
1
head.
indicated that if the original body and and partner survive, they could be separated, and then because like one of the plots of Regeneration 1 was that the Nebulons were building new bodies for the Headmaster heads left behind.
Okay.
And if the original bodies still existed, then they could fucking
Take control.
no, it means they could just plop the head back on and call it good.
Oh.
The issue was like half of them were dead.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Headmasters before them, the POWERMASTERS were handled very differently in the Japanese market,
Yep.
where the entire concept was reinvented and given a new name, Godmasters.
Why Godmaster
In
of all
Japanese
things?
media, Headmasters
Because they
were
are
not
God
two
made
beings
flesh.
bonded together, but a single small robot
What do you call
controlling
someone
a
who
larger
heals so fucking
lifeless body
fast?
called a
As they well, you need a high-speed camera to tell they were injured at all. Someone who's who's telekinetically throwing around rocks, fire, and lightning at you.
No. Anyway.
Transtector.
I do
You
like
call
the
them
design.
no. They call you. Well, meanwhile, they simply yell, "Chokan fire yatsa," and you die.
Oh my god. Anyway, I like the one that looked like a tank, at least for the Headmasters, but Godmaster
Same
is a
was
bit
true of
much.
the Godmasters, except that rather
Don't
than
fuck
a
with
small
Godmasters.
robot, they were controlled by a human being.
Yeah.
As seen in the Japanese original
I heard about
animated
this.
series, Super
I have it on
Godmaster
DVD.
Force,
I'm-
donning a pair of special
I'm sorry, I laugh at the name Super Godmaster Force.
Dude, every single Transformers series is Super Robot Lifeform Transformers in Japan.
I know. It's funny. Super Godmaster Force just sounds so... It sounds like an episode of Captain Planet to me.
bracelets.
It
made
sounds
using
better in the
Master
original
Force
Japanese.
technology.
Choji
A
Master
human
Force.
could convert
Maybe
their
so,
flesh and
but
blood
still.
body into metal and transform into an engine form known as
They
an Iacon
pretty
that allowed
clearly
them
still
to
have flesh
connect
under
to
there.
and control a
Wait, it is
transtector.
known as Iacon? Well then. Quite a
What?
coincidence.
No.
That's what you just said. Did you not hear?
Where did they?
There's a...
into metal and transform into
I
an
watched this
engine
series.
form
I don't know where the
known
fuck
as
you
an
got that
Iacon
from.
that
it
allowed
might
them
be
to
from
connect
something
to
else.
and control a transtector with a cry of
God on?
I think you
The
might have gotten some bad
transtectors that would
information.
become the Godmasters were built in a Cybertronian facility in a region of space known as G Nebula 89. But they were
Okay.
stolen by the
Oh.
evil energy being Devil Zed,
Okay.
who sought to turn them into super
It's
powerful.
mentioned only on the fucking toy packaging.
Oh. That's where I got it from.
They never refer to it in the show. They never refer to it in the manga. It's mentioned once in the Legends comic.
Let's be honest, how many things are mentioned once in a fandom that are repeated constantly?
This has only
It's-
ever been repeated once.
Exactly. And what did I just say?
Also, all right, I will eat my words, especially if I just checked the history to see when the hell this article was made. The person who made it was Chris McFeely.
Who? Oh. Huh. That's funny. Huh.
Full life forms by infusing them with supernatural energy known as Chokon power.
Choke on
Devil's
power.
Head scattered the transtectors across Earth,
Made it
where they
6
lay
years before it
hidden
was ever
for
relevant.
years, absorbing the planet's unique energies, until the year 2020, when Devil's
Imagine
Head,
just
who had
fusing
become
with your
the
car.
leader of the Decepticons in the interim, began recruiting humans to bond with them. Built in space, nurtured on Earth, and bonded with humans, the transtectors embodied the three aspects of Chokon power: the
That
energy
is?
of heaven, earth, and man.
What?
The three principles of existence in Chinese and Japanese theology.
Oh.
Chokon
I
power
see.
granted them enhanced strength and speed, energy manipulation, rapid healing, and more. Powers
Oh,
far
well then.
beyond those of mortal beings. Hence the name, Godmasters.
These
Oh,
are still not the strongest
Devil's
thing in
Head
the canon.
enticed evil humans into his
Oh, I
service
know.
with promises of this power, hiding the
That-
transtectors' true
that is
origins
still the
from them,
alternative.
and instead claiming that they were fragments of a godlike alien being. But despite the Decepticons' efforts, some of the
Okay,
Transtectors were
so
found by
about
the
that,
What?
they are the fragments of a godlike alien being.
Oh.
They are also backup bodies manufactured in space simultaneously.
Backup bodies for who?
Autobots, like retroactively, Geenrai is supposed to be a backup for Optimus Prime,
Oh. Well, yeah.
but Vector Prime waved it away as a combination of two things: the fluid intersection of myth and reality, which explains nothing, you clockwork fuck.
Hmm.
And also the result of Primus's physical form getting blown the hell up in Headmasters.
Hmm.
So time and space are destabilized. Both origins are simultaneously true. And Devil Z, the main antagonist, is either another godlike being that lost his body entirely and was hoping to recombine the fragments of their deceased sibling, into a new body, or the corrupted wisdom of the Quintessons that, after the Autobots successfully overthrew them and got the Matrix back way back when, they just kind of dumped that shit out into the universe and started refilling the Matrix with, actual wisdom.
Hmm.
heroic humans who allied with the Autobots to fight them. At the end of the series, the Autobots destroyed Devil Zed, severing the connection he had forged between the Transtectors and the humans, and bringing the Transtectors to life as ordinary Transformer robots.
Alright.
Most of the
Hunter
POWERMASTER
and Buster,
toys
who
were
he merged with
recolored
their
to
Transtectors in an earlier episode, and they're like, no, what's holding us back is our humanity. They promptly lost access to 1/3 of their choke-on power when they were merged into true robotic life forms.
Wow.
Hunter and Buster were not smart.
They were released as Godmasters in Japan, and the very different story behind them meant that they were all reimagined as new characters.
Yeah.
Most notably, the toy that had been PowerMaster Optimus Prime
This
in
was
Hasbro
something I've
markets
heard.
became the Godmaster Jinrai in
Yeah,
Japan.
no,
a truck
I
that
have the
could control
reissue of Gene-Rai's toy they did for the, So, for the fucking commemorative series way back when, they released the Geenrai toy as opposed to PowerMaster Optimus Prime. Because the Geenrai toy is just better.
Oh.
It has retracting fists. It has a die-cast metal cab with transparent blue windows. And they included, fucking God Bomber and, renamed it Apex Bomber. Just so he'd also have that extra power-up.
Well then.
It's a really beefy toy.
I can tell.
Transtector that only looked like the Autobot leader.
Only
One
looked
additional
horrible.
Japanese exclusive figure was released,
I
Decepticon
want an
Ambassador
Overlord.
Destruction Overlord. And the Autobot Godmaster engines were also recolored and sold separately
These have
as
never
the
seen
Master
canon
Force
use
Warriors.
outside of some IDW cameos.
Oh. Huh.
Like the previous year with Headmasters, they made 6 original molds that actually did crop up in the show as civilians. And they're go for mad money. These are just recolors that no one really cares about. Nobody gives a shit about Aquastar.
Aquastar of all
Or
things.
Zekta. Or whatever the third one is. Why do I know the first two?
I don't know.
3 Godmasters who didn't have Transtectors of their own. PowerMasters shouldn't be confused with Powered Masters.
What?
A
There's
team
a-
of
Yeah, no, those
motorized
are different.
Autobots released in...
What?
Their gimmick is they turn into motorized bases that can link up. They're from Zone.
Oh my god, why do we have names so similar
Japan
here?
in 1990. Nor with the Power Masters,
What?
spelled with a space instead of just one word. Transformers with pullback motors available in Europe.
pullback motors that had a catch where, so if you inserted one of their guns in alt mode, it could it would then release the catch and let them spring forward and transform. Now, the real question for you, which of them is Ironhide?
I'm not sure, but either way, I should probably
The gray
mention
one.
this, guys. Oh my god.
The only one of these that has ever been relevant is fucking Bullet Bike over on the left, where he got an entire club's tech story where fucking Transtech Bullet Bike wound up trapped in his G2 bot, well, in the G2 body, he slowly going insane as he launched a raid on his own company to try and take his body back.
Sometimes I feel like our reactions to these videos are just your deranged Transformer rants.
It's not deranged, it happened!
It's still deranged!
I hug you and shake you and call you George.
Oh my god.
Europe and Australasia as part of the Generation 2 toy line in 1995.
Okay.
This casual recycling of the name speaks to the way that the PowerMaster concept just hasn't had the same level of impact on Transformers lore as the other Master gimmicks. There have been multiple new Headmaster and Target Master toys down through the years, but PowerMasters haven't been so lucky. At the absolute most basic level, the idea of tiny partners who link with and provide
the toy didn't even work like that.
Has been seen
that
again.
sucks.
For instance, with the Minicons.
Like, it just plugged in, posted to a hole.
Yeah, I just said about this. Basically, the Minicons basically... the Minicons
Sorry, I just
basically...
hate the weaponizers.
I know. The Minicons basically do the same thing. They unlock special weapon abilities, and they're their own little robots too. They don't just make them into like engines or
Armada, or the
Oh, my mistake. It wasn't the weaponizers.
Ooh, Power of the Primes. But the
what are these guys,
specific
then?
concept of a partner who becomes an engine that unlocks a toy's transformation hasn't been used
You're
again
looking it up,
since
aren't you?
1988. And
Yes.
the technology has only
my god, you don't have to look up
occasional
everything.
name drop in new stories.
Activator
never playing a
Combiner
significant role.
Minicons.
Oh.
Would you like to know where the guy who formed Optimus's engine block in that sequence actually goes on the toy to activate the cannons?
Where?
The back of the fucking truck.
That literally makes no sense.
Yeah, no, the Activator Combiner toys, they suck. And, like, that and Bumblebee using another one once are the only time we actually saw the abilities, because the rest, they were just Minicons briefly sent out by Soundwave to go steal the Autobots' weapons.
I really wish that toy looked better.
No, RID 2015 had really shitty toys in Season 3.
Oh god. Anyway.
There were some good deluxes prior to that, but not a one of the Combiner Force toys was good.
Anyway, we have another one here.
I have their Menosaur. It's awful. Power Core Combiner, that was more they formed armor and weapons.
Okay.
Power Core Combiner's Leadfoot would pay the most direct homage to it, with his Minicon partner Pinpoint, who turned into an oversized engine-shaped turret for his vehicle mode. That said, several of the PowerMaster characters have received new non-PowerMaster toys over the years, and become popular with 21st century audiences through new roles in modern media.
Popular's one word for getaway.
We'll get to him
Want to beat him, but want to tie him up and hit him with a rusty bat is another word.
I was going to say wait till us to get to that episode, but you know.
Oh, I'm not going into the horrible shit he did. I'm just saying I want to hit him.
Well, we'll get to his episode eventually, everyone.
So, something that's probably not going to get mentioned. The Titans Return era Power Master stuff actually led to the creation Beast Wars Uprising of a third Master. The Triple Threat Master. So, Optimus and Galvatron simultaneously had a Power Master, a Headmaster, and a Target Master.
That's a lot of masters.
It made them powerhouses. It also shortened their natural lifespan.
Don't they know the saying, no one man can serve multiple masters? Anyway. We're going to head...
Jason Jansen.
We're going to head more into this, and wow.
The gimmick doesn't take off. In the world of the Transformers, toys.
Well, we'll get to Getaway eventually if you guys want. I don't know much about Getaway.
Those are the basics on the PowerMasters and Godmasters. Which approach do you prefer, Marvel or Masterforce? Power your way down to the comments.
Masterforce, because Marvel was just kind of dumb.
History, make sure to
Masterforce is
subscribe
insane,
for more.
but
Ring
it's
the bell to
fun.
be notified.
Masterforce more seems like a Sentai series with the way it does it.
Like new episodes or get early
No,
access.
no.
Porting the show
No,
on
Super
Patreon.
Robot. It's Super Robot all the way, my friend.
I don't know. Seems pretty...
You assume it didn't take them halfway through the series to get all the Masters.
I mean, either way. But either way, if you guys like what we're doing here, please do consider checking out, following, subscribing, all that nice stuff you do with streamers. And if you really want us to do stuff, head over to the Patreon. We'd love to see you there. We have a lot of videos over there that you'd probably be happy to watch. And maybe we'll watch one of the Transformers series over there if someone tells me to. I don't mind watching it, is all I'm saying.
Been telling you to for a while.
No, you haven't.
Go watch the Transformers series, Wolfington.
Which one?
The Transformers series.
I remove your CPU.
And you expect that to make my responses more coherent.
I remove your vocal cords. Anyway.
I poke you.
Anyway, thank you all so much, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Upside the head.